Okay, so hello everybody and welcome to Conversations of Possibilities with one of my personal favorites. I can't call him Dattatreya Khanolkar, Dattu.
Good. That's topic of conversation too.
That's a possibility.
Yeah, that's a possibility. Yeah.
Dattu, for everyone who doesn't know him, and I don't think there's anybody on this call who doesn't know him, but just one of you doesn't know him. Dattu is this wonderful, wonderful being who happens to be a CF also. This fabulous, kind, beautiful, wonderful being from Bangalore. And I personally adore this guy. He's what the future can have more of. He's what the world... Oops! Whose was that?
That's Reshma's baby saying hello. Oh, there's a double hello.
Yay!
Hi! Nice to see you. So, guys, I mean, like...
Even we adore this guy.
Starting
yeah, even we adore this guy. And Chandana too.
Even we adore this guy.
Hi.
Hi, Dattu.
So much love. Hi.
I don't know if you remember who we are, but
Mrs. Oti, we should take this off record. We should do this later. I think proper ragging ho rahi hai. It's like, but you know, Chandana, like I would really begin by genuinely expressing my heartfelt gratitude for this platform that you created for all of us. I've been live on one call, and then I've listened to like the recording of a couple of calls, and the space that you've created for us, and like it genuinely is a representation of how we can co-create and work together, and it's such a beautiful space. So I hope that you can receive what I'm trying to say, but like thank you so much. It's been such a, it's like this level of acknowledgement of what someone knows, right? And a platform where people can receive is something so beautiful. So thank you so much. And thank you, Reshma, for co-creating this. And like, thank you everybody for coming on this call.
This is not possible without Reshma.
100%.
She's the one who puts it all together.
Yeah.
She's the one who works on it and gets it all out there.
Putting aside 1 hour every day in the evening, and the kind of work that goes into like creation of these graphics are probably things that not only people talk about. And this is a non-paid thing, right? Like there's no like direct whatever. You know what I'm trying to say? But to do it with as much, as much love and as much, like putting your energy there without like all your creations, it's not that this is treated separately or differently. And again, before I thank you another time, thank you so much for this.
Thank you. That's
awesome. So
I'm truly touched. No, now you said, now I have to say. Now my turn.
Generally, thank you.
We just play game.
Voice is echoing. Can you hear me now?
A little.
Is it clearer now?
Just say something.
Can you hear me now?
Monica says it's still... Monica, is it still echoing for you? For me, it's kind of clear.
I'll probably come closer to the computer. So
yes, it's clear for me as well.
Okay, wonderful. Awesome. Yeah.
Cool. Okay.
So thank you for that, sweetheart. Thank you. Still echoing, Monica, so now it's better? Awesome. Wonderful.
Awesome. Yeah, now better. Awesome.
Thank you, Dattu, for that acknowledgement of yours.
Yeah.
Thank you. It touched me where my heart is.
Yes.
And I am so grateful to you, my friend. Truly, I'm so grateful to you. And that's what actually I want to create with Conversations of Possibilities, is a space of oneness, is a space of where we have each other's backs. Yeah. Not just by saying that I have your back, but actually by having each other's backs.
Yeah.
Through every space that we create for ourselves. And I have days which are really up, and then I have days which are really down. Yeah. Neither of them is right and neither of them is wrong. But I know when I'm really down, I don't really end up creating very much. And that's the time when I really could do with a hand or someone just saying, hey, I have your back. And if I'm expecting that for myself, how many of us, and it's not even an expectation, it's just something that you know, that if I could just have this in this moment of time, I know I could take that one step forward. And what if we can all be that for each other?
Absolutely.
And what if we can actually bring the choice of possibilities and the choice of facilitators to everybody out there, and to bring every energy that's available. Because when Dattu comes on with an energy that's Dattu. You know, when R.D. Singh comes on, he comes on with an energy that's R.D. Singh. When Parveen Tulli, thank you Parveen for being on, honey.
Oh, hi Parveen.
She's on.
So glad
Hi
to see
guys. So cool to see you guys. So awesome.
Yeah.
So you were talking about sexualness, and how do you expect me not to come?
Correct, as you know, itna burning topic.
He's like, keep all this crap out and let's just go to the topic.
Yeah, let's begin, because you know, I was like,
now, sexualness.
Sexualness, like to really jump in, right? Like to right off the bat. Access for me, probably, I will not say like everybody else, but like probably like majority of people, why the reason why they choose Access. I was looking at really solving problems, and I was interested to stop taking my antidepressant pills. I was at a peak of my depression, and it was a really bad space for me. And I'm not glorifying whatever, like everyone has issues, everyone has problems, everyone has different things they deal with.
But Dattu, can I just say, it's not even about glorifying it. Like when you say it the way you say it, it's more of showing people the possibility that this is what I had, and look at me now.
100%, yeah.
Yeah, no, that inspires you.
Correct.
Up for it.
Yeah, thank you so much for acknowledging that. It was, I don't quite remember, 2015 end, 2016 beginning is when, you know, for me, Access was a modality which genuinely was another tick in my list of modalities that I basically wanted to do and get done with, because I wanted to basically, you know, be like, I've done this, hypnotherapy, 1500 different modalities, and this will be another thing, right? That's how it really began. But bars gave me something which, I mean, I couldn't really quantify, put in words, and then, so both of them on this call, so RD showed up, and it was just those 4 days that I spent with the two of them. For me, like, it was the space that they were being, it was the people that they, you know, I mean, that's a different story, and I know that we've spoken about a lot of times, like how it was monetarily not making sense for him to come down to Bangalore and do that class. Like there were about 5 or 7 people who registered for the class, and I wasn't getting leave from my job, and I left my job because I was, you know, I really wanted to do this class with RD. I didn't know who the hell he was. I just knew that, you know, I'd seen his picture, and I was like, okay, like, you know, this is whatever, like this is something that kind of makes sense, and it's something which is, I know will create a certain future. And so to cut the story short, they flew into another city where monetarily the class wasn't making sense. It wasn't something which, I was the only signed up participant as of the morning of that class. And on the day of the class, another participant showed up. And then, so we were 2 of us in the class, and I had 4 days with them, right? And that was the beginning of the kind of change that I started experiencing from there, and what I really got, like that was when it began. Now talking about sexualness, right? When we went through the manual, there were a lot of things, you know how power-packed the manual is. Like today it's about 69, 70 pages. I remember that time it was about 150 odd pages or so.
Yeah.
2015, 2016. It was a power-packed, crazy manual with like so many different things where people are talking, like Gary and I are talking about so many different things, and then there's Kiran, and then there's RD, and then they are being a certain energy, like what the hell do you focus on, right? We spoke about sexualness, we spoke about sex, we spoke about elements of sex, and the way they spoke about it, very honestly, it was like, it's just another thing. Like I felt like, you know what, probably given my age, or probably given who I was, I did not have too many point of views about sex, sexuality, gender, etc. I had lumped it as one, but like I genuinely, it wasn't something that really hit the chord. For me, it was more about, quietening my head, etc. And we spoke about abuse. Now, I was heavily sexually abused as a child. And I thought that I had worked on that using different modalities for years, etc. But the way this entire subject of abuse was brought up, right, with Access, and like what they really said, and actually I think there was this bombardment in 2017, where Gary really started talking a lot more about abuse.
Yeah, I think they also had the second abuse class that time.
Yeah, and guys, like if there's anyone who, I thought I had dealt with that shit because I was very numb about it, and I felt like, there's so many other things that I probably need to look at. But abuse was something that kind of caught my attention, even in the foundation class, because what Gary says about abuse was one of the first times I felt like I was not wrong, and then I have a body, and I can be okay with my body. And the way I remember, like this part, like both of them spoke, the way they spoke about it, there was this almost sense of certification from the universe saying, you know what, you're not wrong or you're not fucked up. It was that energy. And then 2016, 2017, there was this beautiful class, and then there was this whole, so much showed up, right? Like there was the abuse hold clearings, etc. I started listening to it. I'm not one of those who sits and does clearings all the time. Like I'm not, I thought I wasn't, because I did judge Access even 1.5, 2 years into doing Access, very honestly.
Yeah.
I thought they were beautiful tools for mental masturbation, which made a lot of sense in the head. And it's I just knew that it gives you a space to experience. But I feel like, there are days that I'm feeling nice, there are days that I'm not feeling nice. And then I was not one of those who really used tools and did like pot and pop all the time. I was not one of those. But then I think it was also my collaboration with RD, and because I started working with him in 2000, whenever that was, that same year, I think, 16, 17. I started working with him, that literally the universe, I feel like, conspired me to be in an Access energy, right? Yeah. There was some of the other class that was showing up, and I was believing a lot of stuff that was showing up in classes, and there were a lot of things that didn't make sense to me, but I was still in that. It was literally like, now I'm really going back to what was I asking for? Right? Like, what was I asking for? I remember 2015, I haven't shared this, I've spoken about it in a few classes that I facilitated, but then 2015, at the peak of my depression, where I had tried every possible thing in my head, right? Like, I was one of those who really didn't give up. I went to psychotherapists, astrologers, blah, 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 you name it, like counselors, etc., etc., etc. I read this newspaper, there was this ad somewhere that I read about this one particular therapy in Mumbai, where they passed some sort of electrical current through your body to kind of change something. And I was like, this may be another thing. So I went to Bombay. I was in Bombay at that particular time, and I signed up myself for all of this. And I remember lying naked, like in my underwear on that bed, where they connected these electrodes to my feet and to my hands, and then they passed some amounts of electricity through it. And that is when I fucking, like, when I go back to it, that is when I fucking made that choice that, you know what? It's either it changes fucking now, or, I am like done.
I'm
like
done.
This is not something that is going to continue, and this shit is something that won't, right? Yeah. Again, not making the story significant. I think everyone will through it. It was just I think that was the time when I really, really, really made that ask. And the way things have shown up the last couple of years, it's been so freaking magical. Now, coming back to the foundation class, we skimmed through sexualness. We spoke about the elements of sex. We spoke about the elements of, we spoke about gender. We spoke about a lot of those things, but it wasn't something that really caught my attention. 2018 in Australia, that's literally 2018, like last year, December, I asked Gary some question, and he said, he's obviously like, you fucking asshole, and then he said, are you willing to truly acknowledge your sexualness and your ability to be, and your capacity with lust? Okay? And I was like, "Ye kya bol raha hai?" Like I'm saying something else, and this guy's saying something else. Like he's not getting me. I feel like, like whatever. And then people were like, "Oh my god, did you get it? Did you get it?" I got like 20 messages. Did you get what he was trying to say? Did you get what he was trying to say? And I was like, anyway, like forget it. And Chandana, that year, the last year, right? The way all of this information kind of came together for me, and I started truly acknowledging what, or probably even started looking at what Gary and Dane really started talking about, has really changed, like to another level, like to a different,
And it's amazing that, you're speaking about sexualness with you.
Exactly, and it's so weird. Like Chandana.
How did we get so lucky? Yeah.
She invited me for this call, and she said, "Hey, would you like to talk about sexualness?" I was like, "This lady knows." मतलब इतने साल consciousness करने के बाद थोड़ा तो कुछ, like, कुछ तो पता है. Yeah.
What is the question? Are you willing to own and what?
I don't remember like verbatim, but it was something like, are you willing to acknowledge the sexualness you are, and are you willing to acknowledge your capacities with lust, and are you willing to be lusted after? Okay. Something like that, right? In Gary language. Okay. So that is what it was, and So, and then I started looking at. Then I re-looked at this entire subject of what the hell is actually sexualness, right? And what is this entire topic? And then I really went back to the first time you're out of that womb, you come out. Hello, congratulations, ji, beta paida hua hai. Matlab, very, very happy for all of you. Matlab, घर का, what is that? नाम रोशन करेगा, चिराग नाम आगे बढ़ाएगा, etc., etc., etc. Like that is so what Gary talks about in the foundation manual, which so there's this clear classification that he's done about like what sex, what gender, what sexualness, and what gender, sexualness, and sex and copulation really is, and they're really separate things. And he talks about sexualness is when you have that space of true gifting and receiving, where you are completely experiencing what oneness is, which gives you the space of being the energy of total healing, caring, being that creative energy for creation, and that orgasmic energy of living, right? Now these are, and Gary's English, beautiful words put together, and that is so different from the definitions and idea of what sex and gender is, what is basically.
Yeah. Like, and in fact, anytime we even use any word with sex, like even if it's sexualness, it comes from the word sex. So for most of us, we go straight to copulation.
Yeah.
That's what.
And Chandana, like it's another question I have to like. So I realized that at the end of everything, like our basic tools of polarity, right? Like really looking at like how much polarity are we really using to even dismiss access, right? Yeah. There were so many people who came to me and they said, "Ye to ji, Firam do bande hai, they're talking about free sex and you can have sex with anyone, and they're saying you don't have to have sexual preference. They're asking you to be gay, they're asking you to be thing." That is not the freaking point. When you're trying to do that, you're still trying to do polarity. So how much polarity are all of us really doing to really prove the rightness and wrongness of this, right? I feel like dunya mein itne log kar rahe hain rightness and wrongness, and it's at the end of the day, it's just another choice. Are you really truly willing to be another person who will just do rightness and wrongness of something? Access doesn't work at all, because Gary said that you've got to be willing to be that person who is willing to have sex with like men, women, and randomly out of your marriage, right? And how easily do we really discard information and discard and not receive things and not receive people based on our judgments and things that we have already concluded is right and wrong and good and bad, right? So everything that's being for all of us can create and destroy.
Yes, please.
Right on the back of Corona and Shots Boys and beyond. So Gary says that people embody sexuality which is different from sexualness. Now, what is sexuality? Sexuality is when you identify yourself as heterosexual or homosexual, and now there are like 500 different sexuals that have come.
I know there's so many of them now.
Types. But like when you have a very, very, very strong point of view of being heterosexual, homosexual, you are in a way rejecting the gender that you're not agreeing and aligning to have copulation with. And there was, he says, the true power of sexualness is the power to transform people without copulation. There is an intimidation in sexualness and there is a repulsion in sexuality, which means, like, what does it mean? Like, when you're choosing to be heterosexual, there is this sense of repulsion towards, like, even receiving from people who are choosing to be homosexual or choosing to be, like, whatever is it that they're like wanting to have sex with animals or whatever they're choosing, like, to have sex with. There is such a strong judgment that you're not willing to receive from them. And Gary says, until and unless you are in this fight of sexuality and proving who your sexuality is or the rightness of it, you truly cannot really experience what sexualness is. So everything that is for all of us can, uncreate and destroy.
Please.
Right, talking about popcorn and shots, poison beyond. I remember, there was this person that I was working with, and then there was hypnotherapy, and we were regressing and blah, blah, blah. And she said, you know what, at the age of about 5 or 6, I remember, like, the family was sitting together, and she's like, is ladki mein nazakat nahi hai. Like, she doesn't have that feminine feminine grace.
Yeah.
She's so masculine. And she says, I was just 4 or 5, and that's something that still stuck with me. And then she chose whatever she chose in her life as. She chose to be whatever, her story. But the point is, how many such point of views of our body and how many such point of views of the rightness and wrongness of sexuality is something that we are really, like, forced to believe or put in our space even before we were conceived.
Yeah.
And how much are we living at the effect of it even today? So I would, 4th grade, healthy child, Ajay, boy with boobs, ye to ladki hai, gay hai. That is what it was. And thankfully, like, there were 50 other things going on in my world, that it wasn't something that really, of course it felt horrible. I remember coming and speaking to mom about it, and it's like, what the fuck, I felt so shitty about my body that, like, I have, like, an enlarged chest, and they're calling me, like, they're like, oh, you shouldn't be in a boys' school, you should be in a girls' school. And it's not a very nice thing to hear when you're, like, 3rd grade, 4th grade.
Absolutely.
And whatever, then I chose something different. I was one of those who fought for other people, and I became one of the prefect types, and, nobody was into it. But then my point is, how many such things do we hear in the passing, which people just say for the fuck of it, that really, really, really sticks to us, right? And we allow. I remember I was having, there was something that Isha put up once on Facebook, and she said, I think this was that time when she was being, when she chose to become a right body for you facilitator, and she said, you know what, this is probably one of the first times I got the sense that I have a body.
Yeah.
She said that, and probably should have said it as one of her, I don't know, it was something that she put on Facebook. And then, for me, the next couple of days, the next couple of months, like, this is something that kept popping in my head also. Yeah. I never, for the longest time, truly acknowledged that, there was a physical body as well. And RD kept screaming, kindest, sweetest, most loving, cutest voice. He kept saying, guys, like, can you acknowledge that you have a body, and how much are you guys out of it, and how much do you even, like, truly acknowledge that you have a body? But when I started getting glimpses of it, that, hey, you know what, I have a body, and then I'll talk about what showed up the last year with the whole lust and the whole whatever. But that acknowledging that, what, we have taken on this journey, forgetting that we have something called a body, and it's just the head, mind. And how much of the wrongness of sexualness is something that we have used to discard the presence of, or the embodiment is it that we are refusing, right?
Yeah.
And that was a major thing. Body process classes, I don't know how many, like I'm one of those lucky people who've been in like so very many body, like 3-day body classes, right? Like the energy, like Chandana is in one right now and she knows, I mean like, of course you've been in so many before. Like the energies of that class is so beautiful that the shifts that it does create for you is so amazing. It took so very many classes for me to even acknowledge that, you know what? It's okay for you to receive. It's okay for you to be someone.
Lie down and not do anything, right?
Anything and receive.
Yeah.
It's like,
yeah. You know, Dattu, if I can just come in here for a second.
Yeah.
Something that you said earlier on in the call, and I just, it's just kind of pulling at my head and saying, say it. So I'm going to say it. You know, you said in the beginning of the call that it was almost like you had numbed you said that I felt that the abuse, it felt numb. I didn't feel the abuse anymore. It had been numbed.
Yeah.
Right? It was almost that numbing that actually doesn't allow your sexualness to show up, because it's almost like when we numb ourselves,
Correct.
we numb ourselves from gifting, we numb ourselves from receiving, and that's the numbing of the sexualness so very often that we do to ourselves.
Yeah.
And
how much
to acknowledge that?
Exactly, and how much of the, I mean, chalo, fir bhi, you know, like a sexual abuse is still something more significant kind of a thing, like whatever. But how many of us really give up parts of us and our bodies on, like, over, as I'm saying, even like before, like at the time of conception, even when you are like just sperm and egg in the womb, how many judgments and point of views do we already start building, right? And you know, it takes, Gary says, if you're willing to acknowledge something, you are already on the path of, you know, like that's your first step of changing it.
Yes.
Right?
Absolutely. And you know, there's so much more abuse which shows up in every different sphere of life. Some of it shows up in the, like you said, sexual abuse is the extreme form of abuse. But then there's so much where we are abusing ourselves constantly. Anytime we don't allow ourselves to be the sexualness, to be the gift, or to receive from, even to receive like the lust, like what Gary asked you to receive. When we are not willing to receive the lust of a person or man or a woman or a child or whatever, it's almost like we're telling our body, hey, you're wrong, cut down. Hey, you're wrong, hide. Or that person is wrong, he's lusting. There's so much of wrongness that comes in that actually shuts out the sexualness that we could actually receive.
Another thing that he said, men and women avoid being this reality, feminine and masculine, because they want to avoid being wrong.
Wow.
I was like, wow, like how much of our masculinity or femininity, like I feel like how much of that is something that we really use to kind of prove an entire segment of the world and society as wrong, judgeable, and cannot be received from. So, I mean, I was never, I mean, like, I don't know how to say it, like, it gave me a very different perspective of, you know, and then, so what showed up after that conversation, the last year or so, there were so many people who very randomly would come up to me and be like, hey, do you acknowledge that you're being in the energy of sexualness? And I was like, kya matlab? Just there's no other topic of conversation and just having another random thing. And I was like, okay, I kept like avoiding it. I was like, you know what, this is something which probably, okay, let's talk about crazy shit, like, you know, big words like stereotypical cadences and about astrotypical realities, and that's more fun. Like, what is the sexualness and what rubbish are you saying? Makes thing. What was that? Do you acknowledge?
Rekha says,
Dattu!
You acknowledge?
Hello!
Rekha!
Hi!
So loving this conversation. I'm super grateful and I'm really enjoying this.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Thank you for being on, sweetheart.
Thank you so much. So, like, that was the thing. Like, for me to even acknowledge that, you know what, there was something that I was being. You know, when I started acknowledging it, Chandana, when I truly started acknowledging me receiving lust, right, in whatever form, in the last couple of year and a half, is when I started acknowledging where every single person was there was somewhere you are made wrong to be the sexualness that you are, because you're made wrong because, why does someone make something wrong? Because A, they can't fathom it, they can't get, or they want to be it so badly,
and they
or
can't
they want
be
to have it, and they can't be it
because
and
they've decided that they can never be it, right?
correct. And this really aligns with the whole abuse conversation. Like, why does someone, like, what is abuse? Like, in a space of abuse, it is that space where they, by the way, abuse you because you're the most convenient target, and then you are that energy that will allow them to make them feel more powerful.
Yes.
Because, like, I always use this example, like when you're playing say chess, would you play chess with a 3-year-old baby, or would you want to, like, or would you want to play chess with a person of your age and win and then feel nice? Correct. So same way, how wrong have we been made for our sexualness? Right? How wrong have we been made to really, like, receive from someone with no point of view? And they're like, then it goes, the whole conversation goes to, there are no free dinners. This lady is being slutty. She wants something from here.
Because
like,
no point of view, so not this reality.
But Channa, even people doing access, right? I'm talking about the so-called glorified, all of us, like, how much do we do that? Oh, she's being a slut. She's definitely, she's doing this because she wants to sleep with Dane, or she's doing this because she wants to sleep with somebody else, or she wants
always about sexualness has always been attached with sex, right? Copulation.
Correct. Yeah.
Just copulation. Yeah.
Can I?
Yeah, please, Reshma.
So this thing has been really pinging me, and since you said that sexualness is intimidating.
Yeah.
And like, so it's so funny how I keep fluctuating, like, with my body. And I thank you so much for sharing the whole lust bit. That information is really crucial, if I can call it.
Yeah. I get ya.
True.
Yeah.
It's all interesting point of view, but yeah, it's almost like the moment I'm actually losing weight and I'm looking like the best that I have been so far. Like, I'm not talking with this correct figure, or I'm just very body. I observe that there are people conducting me, or I get those messages. I have men messaging me on Facebook and all of that, and then suddenly I shut myself off because that's not what I'd like. And that somehow goes hand in hand with the whole sexualness being intimidating. Like, I don't really know my question, but how did you...
Yeah, I get what you're trying to say, but then are you willing to acknowledge that when someone is intimidated by you, they are that for what? Because you're being that unexplained energy, or you're being that unexplained self that they know that they can have and they know that they can be. And the only way that they can be it is by trying to control you somewhere, where there's a relationship tag and be like, you, me, boyfriend, girlfriend, and now, like, two Mira types, and then, like, we are just one. And then how much control is really used? And that is when I started acknowledging that, hey, you know what, this is lustable. Like, this body is lustable, firstly. And secondly, that when I started acknowledging that every time there was lust thrown, or there was lust, basically I allowed myself to lust and to be lusted after, I realized that how much of that was again used as a control mechanism to not allow you to truly embody sexualness.
And also, if I can come here for just a second, Dattu, also want to say something so beautiful. Also, how many of us have literally decided, that, if we receive the energy of lust, because lust is just an energy, and if we receive the energy of lust, now we have to do something with it.
Absolutely.
Right? It's not like just receive it and let's let it pass. It's like, oh, now I've received it, so now I have to do something about it. So now I have to fight with myself of, do I have sex with that man or with that woman, or do I not have sex with that man and that woman?
What is this? I mean, like this reality. You know what? Let's not take any glorified. Like let's just take someone who's had a fairly normal, quote unquote, life, and someone who's been married, has had kids, da da da. Why does the body start deteriorating? This was, by the way, courtesy RDC. I spoke about why is it that after a certain point, after whatever, like why is it that we're basically moving towards deterioration and degeneration and disintegration of our physical body? Because in some way, we are rejecting to be the energy of sexualness because we have kind of intermingled it with sex and population. And there's so much judgment around, there's so much blame, shame, regret about sex is not correct now, sex is correct now, and not required now, or not desirable now. There's more fat
With the right
here,
person, with the wrong
sagging
person.
here, yeah, and that is wrinkled, and that is smelly, and that is bigger, and that is smaller, and that is all of that. So how much of that do we basically use to degenerate and decompose our bodies? And what if one of the keys, like anti-aging, like Olay cream, we should sell this. What if one of the ways to actually not really age was to truly embody and ask for, basic, simple, is our high funda conversation cholo, and if you really get to body, show me what true sexualness is. Universe, show me what true sexualness is. And what would it take for me to, and you know what I started doing? I started asking, so then sex, money, sexualness, creation of life are so, I feel like, like so intermingled and like it's so there, and like I started asking for those things to show up in my life that allowed me to embody sexualness, which in this reality are probably this ring that I got, right, is something which is a reminder of my sexualness. I know it may sound like what the hell, but like it is a reminder of, are you willing to truly do things for your body and be that space? I changed my shampoo, right? Like I was someone who like never cared. Like I would go to my bathroom and like whatever shampoo was there, I would use it because like to be like what my mom got. But when I truly started using the shampoo and the body wash that my body likes, my money situation changed. My receiving of different things changed because I was including more of my body in it. I was including more of me in it. And there is, I will still say that there is probably, that's just 1% of the entire journey, and it's not a judgment. Like I'm just trying to say that there's so much more that I'm really looking at, and that is a question that I ask. It's not been a very easy subject, and it's very easy for, I'm just willing to acknowledge that how easy it is for people to judge and how easy it is it is easy for people to make wrong. If you're willing to acknowledge all those places where you, your body, your sexualness, your sexual choices, your gender was made wrong once, and be like, you have the freaking tool, right, wrong with that, online, choice, boys and beyonds. I'm now willing to choose something different. It starts showing up differently. One more thing, like this is from somewhere else. Shannon did this call on birth and death, right? So it was recently on Facebook. It was all over Facebook, and I downloaded it. I think she did this call in 2016. Do you facilitate that class, Chandana? So,
not birth and death, but I do the others.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
So I downloaded that call. It was a free call that she shared. And she said, when you're creating your future, you're not creating your future till the point of death.
Yeah, that was a beautiful call.
Okay. What does that mean? That means every time you're asking for something or every time you're choosing something, you're choosing beyond and you're creating beyond your point of death. And that opened up so much for me. Like that gave me such a different perspective of what really asking really means. Like for me, for me, ask and receive was I'm going to ask for something now and it's going to show up like in the next 6 months, in the next 1 year. I became, for me, it was initially like, I have the magic tool, I'll do it right now, kal tak aa jayega. Then it became, it doesn't show up the way you think it will show up, so give it some time. Okay, so the 6 months ka quota. 6 months I'll do it. But what the fuck? You're not asking for now. You're not asking for the next 6 months. You're asking for, when you include the future, and when you're asking for beyond your point of death. And that energy for me is also the energy of sexualness.
That is so beautiful what you just shared, Dattu, because that is the energy of sexualness. And what Shannon also says is, when you're not creating, you're actually choosing slow death.
Yeah.
So whenever we step out of creation and we step into a mode of stagnation, it's actually slow death. It's like a slow suicide.
Yeah. When you're not creating, you're dying.
When you're not creating, you're just choosing death.
Yeah.
But you think that you have a body that still breathes, so you're still alive, but it's actually choosing death.
Yeah. I was like, wow. Like, it's like, I just feel like we're all just scratching the surface. And there's so, like, every time I feel like, I'm like, what else? Like, what else can it be? Like, every single time it's a different perspective. Like, every single time it's like, oh, I did not listen to this the first time. And it was another thing that,
God, I don't know this, or there's so much more to know. And that's the beauty of it, right?
Yeah.
We have a question from Zeel.
Oh. Hi, Zeel. What's a question?
I love the wows, and Shweta had a question, but I don't.
Shweta, do you acknowledge I was asking what people are saying? Didn't hear that. I'm sorry, I probably missed this question, Shweta. Do you remember your question? Are you on the call?
She says forget it.
Oh, no, forget it. Okay.
The Payal says wow. Rashmi says wow. Zeel
Thank you, guys.
I have a question, Dattu. Firstly, thank you for sharing everything. I feel crappy receiving from my servant, and I don't choose to judge, but it freaks me out. So people like him. What questions can I ask here?
So firstly, I would say, Zeel, what if you to begin with, not feeling shitty about this, whatever it is that you're, that space that you are. I mean, it fucking takes balls to come and be like, you know what, I have the judgment where I have this point of view that I cannot receive from a particular person. That's fine. It's not that you're wrong or you're horrible or you're terrible or whatever. What if you started asking for, what would it look, what does being served look like? Do you allow yourself to be served? What is the energy of, and that is again receiving, right? How much of his kindness are you misconstruing as a way of not accepting it because it's a whole receiving thing, right? My servant looks at me in a creepy eye. So you mean creepy, like sexual creepy eye? Yeah, that's probably what. Okay. So here, I would say acknowledging and knowing first and foremost that there is this energy that's present. Have you done a foundation class? And in the foundation class, we talk about willing to A, first acknowledge it, B, what would you like to do with it? Now, are you willing to be the freaking killing energy that is required over here and turn up that killing energy? Not from the space of wanting to kill him. Do that if you like to. By the way, well, we'll talk about that later. But then, what if you're willing to really turn up that killing energy to kill that, whatever that energy is, to be like, you know what? Like, fuck off. Like, you can't mess with it. When you do it from a space of wanting to, be like, from a reaction that, you know what, if you do this, I'll kill you. It's a very different energy. But when you're willing to be that killing energy, I think Rekha had spoken about this sometime. I don't recollect where, but I don't know if you're on the call and if you remember what I'm remembering and if you remember what I'm saying. You spoke about killing energy, I think in Right Voice for You Bangalore or in the foundation class or somewhere you spoke about it. Where she was willing to be it, and then
the Right Voice for You.
Right Voice for You Bangalore, she spoke about it. And she said, when she was willing, like when you're willing to be that energy, it cannot be there. It cannot be present in your space. Right? All the fear that you have and all the projections you have of what can happen and what will show up and what may happen, can we start now uncreating and destroying all of that? Right? And how much of that is really, how aware are you of the perverted point of views that really exist with thing. And what if that, I don't know how to say it, like, what if you could also receive from the creepiness? I know it's weird, twisted, but the more you resist it, or the more the more you try to push it away, I feel like it becomes a bigger demon, or it becomes a more prominent, bigger, louder energy. And then, when you're with that awareness, if you're willing to be that killing energy, it will not be in your space. It cannot exist in your space, and I guarantee.
Yeah, because whatever we resist,
all of us. Yeah,
absolutely.
So, yeah, and another thing that I personally did was I was looking at. So I kept asking for those parts of my body that I have locked the asexualness. Because asexualness is also a judgment, which is you choosing polarity, which is you not willing to be sexualless, right? So I kept saying every part of my body that I have stored asexualness, and people store asexualness for whatever reasons. Traumatic relationship हो गया, चलो मतलब 10 बच्चे पैदा हो गए ना, there's no need, मतलब
10 बच्चे पैदा हो गए.
Correct.
I love it. 10 बच्चे पैदा हो गए.
Correct. So for whatever reasons, like someone has judged you too big, too small, too whatever reasons, and everywhere you have like somewhere decided this part of me, this part of me, this part of me, and I lost 15 kilos. Of course, like there were 100 other things that contributed to it, but that is something which really did contribute. I really looked at like that part of my body and be like, so everywhere I have locked this into my body and I'm creating this. And guys, the abuse hold sessions and the CDs that are available, phenomenal. Like phenomenal. It's beyond hugging another person and going to sleep. I'll tell you that. That was also a thought in my head. But then when I became, like when I experienced it myself and when I received from it and when I saw what it was, amazing. Like the kind of, my body doesn't feel like what it used to. Like my being doesn't, like me, I don't feel like the person that I was. And it was a very, very amazing, immediate, quick kind of shift. Yeah. So I feel like these things
has something to say here.
Yeah. Has anyone watched Mardani 2? I really want to watch it though.
Weird.
Mom was like traumatized after watching.
Sometimes freaks me out.
I haven't watched the movie. Chanda, have you watched the movie?
I haven't.
The energy of it, like.
Yeah, it's not fun.
Too? Yeah.
And if actually, if I can also say something here, it's like, if your body doesn't like something, you don't have to force it on your body. Yeah. What information is your body giving you about the servant? You don't have to keep him. You're paying him. Get another one. Yeah. Is your body warning you? Is your body telling you something about him?
And
I think what Gatu was saying about receiving the sexual.
I have a question.
Yeah. It's go ahead, darling.
Yeah, Rekha, you have a question.
So I have a question. It's relating to abuse kind of thing. Like, have you watched Kabir Singh?
Yes. And I'm so angry with that stupid woman who gets abused by him and still loves him. I feel like giving her a whack on her face and saying, go to an access class.
Correct. But how many of us do that? Like needn't be sexually abused, but then, it's almost the sense of you cannot have a different reality beyond this. Yeah. And it's like, there's nothing, like my mom and dad, they didn't have a very great marriage. There was no abuse, like physical abuse as such, but then it was a very abusive relationship. And I remember she having a conversation with me when I was 14 and she told me, one of the only reasons I continue to be in this marriage is because I want you to have a good future. And that was the biggest bloody abuse that was ever thrown at me, because I felt that I was the cause of two people really living a horrible life.
Yeah.
Right? And she kept saying, "Haan, chalo, 15 saal ho gaye, kitne aur saal bache," kind of a thing. And she's like, chalo, we'll take it forward. But you always have a freaking choice.
Yeah.
It does not matter if something has been abusive for 2 years, 3 years, 5 years, 5 days, 50 days. You have a freaking choice to step out of it and choose something different. And
my question.
Yeah. What is your your question? What was your question?
So, like, like, like
I
these
like your
kind
matching nail
of
polish, okay?
She's just flaunting it. Yeah, physically.
Yeah, see,
She's
she
being
was.
sexualist. She's being sexualist.
That's sexualness.
so like these kind of movies, like where there is intensity of like, I love watching them. Like I enjoy when people like do these things. Like
When people get raped.
yeah, like
Yeah.
the intensity, not when people get raped, but that intensity of like.
Correct.
So
You know,
what
we just
is
spoke about how sex is used as a way of like repulsion, and like that we do this judgment of this almost this. How aware are you of people? And you know what, you can have sex with me, you can't have sex with me. You can have sex with me and you can't have sex with me. I know this person can have sex with me and this person is impossible and cannot even be there. And force and intensity, porn, right? Pornography. Why do people really like it? Because it gives them a sense of power that you wouldn't have. Otherwise, you'd be like, oh shit, like, you know, it is that energy, it is that intensity of, how do I say, to kind of get over it,
right?
of
And it's
judgment.
a judgment. It's a turn. Judgment's a turn on in this reality, guys.
Correct. And Rekha, what if you didn't make yourself wrong? I mean, do you make yourself wrong for feeling nice when you watch these things? Or are you just aware of how it excites you and your physical body? And what if it's okay?
like I I enjoy it, like the sense of power that I feel, like how potent we are. It's like a reminder for me.
Correct. So my question is, do you make yourself wrong for feeling it? Because in this world, if I tell people, if I go around walking on the road and say, you know what, I watched a rape scene and I enjoyed it, they'll be like, you know, are you like, do you judge yourself for it?
No, I don't.
Okay, then what is your question?
Yeah,
She wants you to know she enjoys it.
Okay, awesome. I think we should watch.
We go watch it together.
Yeah, so what I'm going to say is, what if it wasn't a wrongness? And what if it was something else? What if it was, what capacities do you have with abuse, and what capacities do you have with changing abuse that you haven't really acknowledged yet?
Okay, good.
Right?
And I think that question goes for Zeal too, because Zeal has sent you a question also, Dattu.
Also, that Zeal, I've had abuse and it didn't really affect me as a child until my parents told me it's wrong as equal as a sin. Exactly. Here, it was a more convoluted story, but to basically cut it short, what I'm going to say is, our physical body really doesn't have a point of view about abuse. Honestly, right? If you study traditional psychology and you go through like you speak about body and babies and there is this kind of, you know, there was this whole article of how even kids who are sexually abused enjoy it somewhere, and they there was another thing. What if you really got aware of how many of these point of views are actually not your bodies, and also acknowledge that, like, I would say, I'm receiving your sexualness and it's called, yay. What if we started really, first and foremost, educating ourselves more about this subject? You know, like, I would say there's so much information available, Zeal. Like, I wouldn't want to dismiss this conversation and be like, it's a 2-minute thing and one clearing and change your life.
Yeah.
You know, of course, there's so much more information available, and the way Access has delivered it, I'm not saying Access is the only way, only thing, but I haven't yet found something else that makes it so beautiful and something that makes it so, you know, like.
And I think
quick
starting with the CD is the first step, right?
Yeah.
Dattu?
Listening to it 30 times. I mean, man, I've probably loudly heard it only once, because I was like, I would play it in the background and I listened to it like, I don't know how many times I did listen to it.
Yeah.
But that, oh my God, that abuse hold session and that abuse hold.
Yeah.
And also, Yeah, I mean, God, it shifted.
And my second question.
Yeah.
So, you shared that thing of when people used to say, like when people used to like tell you about your sexualness, and you were not acknowledging.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there are so many things in ourselves. There are some energies that we don't acknowledge about ourselves, but people acknowledge,
Yeah.
right? So we cannot be dependent on people, right? So
Correct. But
how can we, like, what questions can we ask that would allow us to acknowledge the energies, or who we be, like the capacities and all the things?
correct. There's just a few things I want to say here, and I know Chandana also say. But it's like the thing is, when you've got to acknowledge that you have a physical embodiment in this reality, which means you are interacting with, you like it, don't like it. You can lock yourself in a room and pretend like the world doesn't exist, but then to be a functional person in this body, you are interacting with people, right? What if you employed the universe for the universe to show you in different forms, in different shapes, in different colors, in different words, what true sexualness is? कल पेड़ पत्ते बात नहीं करने लगे. That is also a possibility. Where we can have. So when people come and acknowledge it, it is a way for you to really. That's not the source, but it is a way to basically kind of tell you that, hey, you know what, this also exists, and this also exists, and this is another part that exists. But there was something so brilliant in my head, I forgot it. There's something around sexualness. Wait, I should remember. Yeah, so what I'm going to say is, what if we started really, what would it take for us to even be willing to receive acknowledgement? Like us not willing to receive acknowledgement from people is us not willing to receive. Us. So everywhere we've decided that it has to show a certain way, it has to look a certain way, it has to feel a certain way. Can you create just all of that?
Yes.
I don't know. It can be a simple compliment. By the way, I also started acknowledging that my sexualness, or my like genuinely when I enjoyed somebody else's victory, or genuinely when I enjoyed somebody else's gain, or when genuinely I was happy for somebody else, whatever, they're like, how fucking fake.
Yeah.
Like, you know, I can see that. Like, how fake are you? मतलब पक्का कुछ तो है ना इसमें. Then there were randomly these people came up to me like, do you know how much of a doormat you are? Because you allow people to think. But in my head, I know for a fact that that's not the energy of a doormat, or that's not the energy of...
that's the energy of a creator.
Correct. And
yeah, someone who's willing to do and be anything to make sure that, you know, it's actualized.
This is where, like, I really, so we end up meeting amazing people, and then if you guys have, I don't know if she's on the call, but then I was having this amazing conversation with Prerna the other day, and she read something in the reference. So Prerna is a CF who lives in Bombay, and she was talking about this, and she said, when you're doing soft and seductive, you're doing leadership. When you're truly being a leader, you don't come across as intense. When you're doing control and not leader, you come across as intense because you're not willing to receive what they are willing to give to you. If somebody cares for you intensely, you have to give up control and receive. Having somebody care for you that much requires for you to be the leader. To basically say this in English, a leader is not someone who needs to be loud, screaming, someone who does
or controlling.
Controlling, right?
Yeah.
What Gary says is the real energy of a leader is when you're willing to receive another person and they truly feel received, right, at that particular point of time, and you are being that space. And then there was this whole other conversation of how sexualness is, start asking for space, because he says there's time, space, and too technical, but basically when we're willing to receive people and also acknowledge that there are people making you wrong for receiving other people by calling you fake, selfish, a doormat, someone who cannot stand up for yourself, someone who does not have whatever, a spine, a ball, and all of that. You just start getting present with how much of that is really true and how much of that is a way of your sexualness being trapped and made small. Because my life has only grown.
Yeah,
my
and
life
you
has
actually-
only
and
gotten
you-
better.
Yeah, because that's a way of putting into the polarity of not receiving now.
Correct.
It's like
And
what you're
genuinely,
receiving is
yeah.
too much and something that they would love to. So the
Yeah.
easiest way to put you into a space of where you don't
Yeah.
receive it by putting you into the polarity of it.
Yeah. And having said that, I'm not saying, it's one Mother Teresa kind of a feeling where it's like, sare bachche, everything. Of course you get, of course you're jealous at times. Of course you feel competitive at times. Of course you feel like, why doesn't your world have this? But then that is also a part of it. And I don't think there's anything wrong about it, right? But then I also acknowledge that there is a huge part of me which people think looks like something else. And that doesn't mean I should look at it that way. Right? You're so fake, you're so fake, you're so fake. How many of us have heard that? In different forms, different flavors. That tadka marke, one will put it in a different way and another person will put it in a different way.
Yes.
You're doing this to whatever. So many different things. But then at the end of the day, how many of us are really top of the time? I think we've been talking, we've gone over 1 hour. But yeah.
That's fine. And how many of them are actually judging you for what they are being themselves?
Exactly.
Right? Because they can never judge you
Yeah.
for something that they are not.
Yeah.
So yeah. Go ahead, Resh.
Yeah, Kokal has a question and she's raised her hand. I'm not sure if she.
Okay.
Yeah. So I don't know whether I have a question, but I wanted to share something with the conversation is so beautiful. Like I always had this thing that I would love to abuse a few men because of all the abuse I have been through in my life.
Correct.
Sexually, okay,
Yeah.
and I somehow couldn't get myself to do that, and now what I choose to do is that I can see them naked sitting asking me to do something to them and I don't do anything.
Okay.
And I don't know whether it is abuse, whether that is my way of fulfilling that desire that I have, or कि या मैं उनको तड़पा रही हूँ या जो भी मैं कर रही हूँ. But for me that I began doing that.
Kokal, so I have a few questions and few things that I'd like to share with regards to this. To begin with, there is no abuse that can ever be solved with an equal and opposite abuse. What is that?
Yes.
Every energy has an equal and whatever that is.
Reaction.
Yeah.
There is you cannot abuse the same person, even if you do the same things, that will not be abuse for the same person. Correct? So, I don't think if you are basically trying to, if any of us try to do this battle of abuse, there can never be true 100% fairness. For instance, Nirbhaya, right? I think they're getting hanged now tomorrow or day after or something like that. Is that true? Is that true justice? Like, did she ask?
That's the justice of this reality, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
So, what if you acknowledge that? So then Dane talks about it, I think also in the Being You, whatever, he talks about, he chose to not perpetrate the abuse further, and that was the way to kind of kill the energy of whatever abuse was at the face of it. Because this is something that will go, you will abuse that person, the other person will abuse someone else. But can I tell you something? Will you really feel amazing after you abuse this other person? Momentarily. And then, is that real justice? And Kokil, another question before I forget, because although we've interacted personally, how much of, for the lack of better words, how many people's battles is your body and you fighting with regards to sexual abuse? Like, what collective feminine energies, activism is your body basically doing?
Millions.
Correct. So can you acknowledge that you needn't be at the effect of fighting this entire battle by yourself and in this body? And what if it wasn't a fight anymore? Give up the fucking fight. And that's what one of them say. Give up the fucking fight. And what would it take? How do you do it? the best, easiest tool in all of Access. Universe, show me what this looks like.
Wow.
Shweta says, Gary also talks about the example of the husband of the woman
wife. Yeah.
who was killed by terrorists. I can't recollect. What was this, Shweta?
Can you share, Shweta?
I think we're busy. Okay. So, having said this, I know this is a conversation which... No, we can't hear you.
No, we can't hear you.
Mic not working. TK, we get it. No problem.
No worries.
Yeah. But Gohil, if I have to basically get to that point of what if you did not make it your body's job and your job to really fight for the rightness and wrongness of abuse? Because will it really end? Can it really end for it to be reciprocated? Right? And how much, and if you're saying, if you feel it, how much of that feeling truly belongs to you, and how aware are you of every abuser's feel ever? Okay, now I feel like we have gone, and it's abuse types ho gaya class. So I think we should, we should make it
we just go wherever everyone wants to, whatever they want from Dattu.
Yeah.
And then we get you to sexualness, back to sexualness.
Back to sexualness. Yeah.
So this a moment of being like totally, absolutely true sense of sexualness and totally being you. There are moments of that, and then there are moments of shutting it down and cutting it down, and not being your fit, and then that, I don't know, the to and fro and back and forth of it. So what questions can you give us where we can actually turn up the sexualness and be expanded and, be that energy of sexualness?
That's a beautiful question, Resh. Thank you.
Beautiful. And thank you so much for asking me that question. And what I would really like to say there is, I truly acknowledge that I am work in progress, and there is probably, and I'm okay with the fact that, and I am willing to acknowledge, again, Mr. Gary Singh, R.D. Singh,
Gary Singh.
Courtesy, yes. R.D. Singh thing. You put your energy on grows, right? First foundation class, beginning. What you really, when you are, and he taught me what gratitude was, by the way. When you are truly willing to acknowledge that for example, if your quest is with sexualness, if you're getting a little bit of it right now, or if you're getting some of it right now, and if you can acknowledge that you have it, and it's okay, it'll take its course or whatever for it to show up, right? And keep asking universe, show me what true sexualness really is. And be aware of every time you've been made wrong for being sexual. Everywhere and any time that you are or you were. It's a momentary thing where you look at it, get into the cesspool of it, dance over there for some time, and blah, 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 feel shitty. And then eventually, someone or the other will remind you, or the universe will remind you, you're going to do something different from you. It's not as easy as I'm making it sound, but what would it take for it to be that easy for you and easier? And it's an ask. Ask and receive works.
Oh, it does. It truly does work. And it's almost like I go into the wrongness of me when I shut my sexualness up. And my body is such a great example of that, right? Like when I'm leave myself and the whole sexualness, my body is like being, I don't even know how to define it, but it's being a particular energy. And then you go into the cesspool.
So I have a question for you. Are you willing to be lusted after, right?
I get a yes, but when it's that moment when people are actually doing it, I'm like, oh my God, no, I don't want that.
Just play with this question and be like, what will that create for you? And just look at that for the next couple of days.
That's such a beautiful question, actually, to have. So I'm going to play.
Can I add something?
Yes.
Something here.
Yeah.
Like I'm playing. I'm playing with this. Like when there is an energy that shows up, like people like throw or send someone some energy on you, and you don't want to receive it. Rather than you just acknowledge that this person is sending this energy, and you allow that energy to contribute or nurture your body. Okay, body, receive this and nurture yourself. What if I can nurture my body with this energy of lust?
Yeah.
So
amazing. Yeah.
Yummy. Happy body.
Thank you so much, Chana. We've taken extra 15
No,
minutes
that's
of your
just
time.
wonderful. Thank you.
Yeah.
I've taken your time. Everyone's on. They're loving the call, and I'm so grateful for that.
Thank you. We should do a more fun. And
Yes.
also, what if this is fun?
Yeah. And now, what if we can go to the second segment, which is a little more fun? Not more fun.
Oh, you're
fun.
Oh my God, I'm so excited. Okay, let's do it.
Me too.
Let's do it.
Okay, so lots of people actually have been texting me, and I'm again going to say it on this call. For all of you who've been asking me about Conversations of Possibility Season 1, it's on my YouTube channel. So please feel free to go there and get the other CF's calls, which I did in 2019. There are 7 or 8 wonderful calls out there. So if you want to go on to Season 1, it's awesome. You can go there too.
Yeah. And Season 3 कब आ रहा है जी?
अभी तो Season 2 चल रहा है.
चल रहा है.
ठीक है ना? Okay. All right.
Once again, Chandana should start Coffee with Chandana channel. I totally agree with you, Suman. I think we were total. We were speaking about it in the last call with Vasudha, which again.
Chalo, let's do it. Yeah, I don't know how. I am not good with technology, so you will all have to do it for me.
This is like your
coffee ke saath.
Princess.
I'll come. I'll do it.
Thank you, Zeel. Let's all do it, please. Let's do this together.
ACTV.
Done.
Yes.
ACTV. Okay.
Awesome.
I'll get my cup of coffee for sure. And my flower.
Princess.
Marcel, me too.
Okay. All right. So I'm going to ask you a question, and you're going to tell us what that brings up for you. Okay.
Cool.
It doesn't have to be one word. You can just say whatever.
I'm allowed extra words. Oh.
Take your time, babe.
Take my time. Okay.
Yep. So what is sex for you? And this is for you.
Sex.
We don't want to know access words. Okay.
Yeah. Sex for me, I think, is a very beautiful space.
Wonderful.
Very sacred, very beautiful space.
Cool. What is abuse?
Abuse is, I think it's, I want to say choice, but I feel like it's a gift somewhere.
Beautiful. Okay. What is violence?
Yeah. I just feel like violence is a way of heightened emotions, which also creates.
Wow. All right. What is your favorite to go to access tool the day you have a grumpy day? That's if you have one. After all, you are a CF. You're not
correct. No, never ever.
No grumpy
we never
day.
have. No, we never. Our lives are like flowery.
We're always laughing. We're always happy. High moments. But
so
one of those days.
So for me, I tried to do favoritism, and I kept looking at koi to mera hoga favorite thing. But what I do, and it's worked for me every time, is I call up on the energy of access consciousness.
Wow.
Right, and it is not whom does this belong to, or it is not, and of course, then whatever shows up after that, because every time I've done that, every time I've called up on the collective energy of access consciousness. I feel like it is so quick.
Wow.
So it works like Nirma detergent powder on yours.
It does.
That's a great. That's a great example. Okay.
Yeah. So wait, you call upon the energy into what? Sorry.
Just call upon, like for example, I'm feeling shitty. Like I don't know what tool to use because itne sare tools hai.
I know the tool at that time. You go to the bathroom, put your pants down and sit on the pot.
And shit. I will take it out. And along with that, when you're doing that, just bring in the energy of access consciousness in your space, and then it's a conversation in your head. Then something will show up, and then one other tool will show up, and then it's just like one thing after the other. But it is that how much time, so that time lag, right? I spoke about, I don't know, like earlier probably it would take 6 months or 6 years or 6, whatever, like a long time for you to really choose to use a tool. With time, that time lag has been decreasing. Earlier, it would have been a shitty space for 1 month and I would have indulged it. But now I consciously see that more and more, like when I use more and more access consciousness tools, that space of shitty that I'm in has started, it's 3 days sometimes it's 3 hours instead of it being 3 days. And I acknowledge that is also a gift.
Wow, that's so beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's a great to go to tool, guys. I know that's going to be one of my to go to tools too.
Yeah.
I'm definitely going to play with that one. Thank you.
Can I ask you what is your go to tool, I said?
My go to tool. So my go-to tool generally is, after going into a lot of wrongness about myself and saying, oh, I suck, my life sucks, I am just such a bloody I just go to, who does this belong to? Because I know that's never me.
Wow.
When I do that,
I thought CF के साथ ये सारी चीजें नहीं
अरे
होती।
यार मैं वही तो कह रही हूँ, आके बैठो हमारे साथ, कॉफी पियो, पता लगेगा. That's why I'm doing coffee time. Okay. Thank you for that question, Dattu. It actually made me look at it.
Yeah.
Okay. So what is a gift you have, the capacity that you have just acknowledged? A capacity that you have that is so huge, a potency that you have that you know you can change the world with.
You know what? I know that I'm magic. And it takes a lot of arrogance and balls to say it, but I am saying it. I know that I am fucking magic.
Oh,
and there's no two ways about it.
That's it. I love it. Oh my God, I love it. I have goosebumps all over.
I love it too.
That's the one. Yes. And we love that energy of arrogance. And for everyone who's done the foundation and is wondering what is arrogance, that's the energy. That's the energy. It's just so beautiful. It's an endearing energy. I think we all want to hug and say, yeah, I'll have that too. Beautiful. Okay, so now we are going to give you one word. Was someone going to say something?
No, I was just saying yay, and I was hugging all people and loving people. So
so sweet. All right. So I'm going to say one word, Dattu, and you have to give me one word for it.
Yeah.
Okay? Choice.
Easy.
Sex.
Not always, actually. अभी तो किया sex? Okay.
अभी तो किया जब 3 words हो गए. 4 words हो गए. Okay. Sexualness.
Beingness. You.
Okay, lovely. Capacity.
एक ही word है ना? You have to use. Find it.
Okay.
Like claim or acknowledge it.
Okay. Body.
You have it. Like don't forget it.
You have it.
यार access के बाद can you do one words by the way? हमारे clearing होता है कितने बड़े-बड़े होते हैं.
That's why I'm on this side of the table.
Correct. Body. What is it? Body na?
Body.
One word. Beautiful.
Lovely.
Body, RD.
Oh my God, RD. Correct. Body RD. Come for his next 3-day body class. That's happening.
That's happening right now. I'm going for the 3rd day tomorrow. My body is already melting. Okay, being.
Space.
Monica, nice music. Okay.
Space.
All right. Destruction.
Essential.
Joy.
Contagious.
Dattu.
Sexualness.
Dattatreya Khanolkar.
The worst abuse that's ever been perpetrated. You do not name your kids like itne bade naam, okay? Like if that's your takeaway, if that is your takeaway from this call, if you know people, tell them to not name their kids with. You cannot have 20 letters in your name. That should be a crime.
So Dattu, you're lucky. We are Sardars. We have 2 to 3 names.
But then I think it's very true. I love, I met someone whose name was Happy, and I'm not even lying.
Yeah. Oh, that's very common, sweetheart. You mean you're surprised?
I was like, so cool.
Come to North India, every second person is happy.
I love it. I was like, if ever there is, okay, no kids. But different question, but yeah.
If you have your kids, we shall name him Happy.
Happy Joy.
Happy and Joy. And there's Jolly too. Yeah, you're right.
There's Jolly too. Yeah.
That's totally North India names.
Correct. Yeah.
All right. No, I don't want to say.
And if you don't like.
What, darling?
Yeah, if you don't like Dattatreya, Khanolkar, you can call yourself DK or Dick.
Dick! They used to.
Rekha, thank you. That was awesome.
They used to do Bhag DK Bose, DK Bose, DK Bose, like DK Bose. Yeah, that song.
Oh, Rekha, where do you come up with these ones? Hilarious.
Awesome, guys. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Chandana, again, thanks a lot. No intentions to make it a very significant call, but I feel like it was amazing for me and it changed a lot for me as well.
And it was amazing for me to have you on. And I'm sure it's been such a beautiful gift to everybody on this call. And a big thank you to everyone. And we have so many CFs on too. We have Parveen,
oh my God.
We have
Thank you, guys. Thank you. Thank you.
We have Isha. We had Adi.
Thank you so much. Thank you all.
Just anybody. We have Aradhana. No, who's Aradhana Singh? Okay.
Many people.
We have so many. And we have such wonderful everybody else.
Yes.
All the BFs and all the participants who...
All the amazing people there. Thank you so much, guys. Thank you. Reshma? Yeah.
Do you have any classes coming up or foundations or any
Yes.
I actually do have quite a few classes. There's a money workbook that a couple of us, like 6 years, we are doing it online. And so that's happening. And then there is...
what are the dates? I mean,
dates are 20th. It's on the...
know.
Shweta, don't kill me, but I think it's the 20th of Jan onwards. And then we have a early bird offer that ends on the 12th. There are 6. So there's Masuda, there's Shweta, there's Bhagya, there's Harry, there's Malvika and myself. So there's 6 of us. We're reading the money workbook. And it's a lot.
Yummy.
Yeah, it was an amazing creation. So that's one. And then there's a foundation and bars showing up in Bangalore. And then there's one showing up in Delhi. And then just a lot of classes.
Awesome. So where can anyone find you? Are you on Facebook?
I wouldn't say call me because I have this horrible thing with call. Yeah, like Facebook, I think.
Don't text him because he'll never text you back.
I'm changing it. I'm changing it.
के बाद एक message आएगा.
I will agree with that.
Right? Absolutely right.
This call, like he'll kill me.
Just to wait.
I'll call you after.
Just don't text him if you want to get in touch with him.
No, but then it's...
How do you get in touch with you?
Ask for 2020.
The bathroom.
When I'm...
when you're
the life is shit. And I'm shitting. Correct. But yeah, so I think Facebook or WhatsApp, I think, but I'll call you back.
Awesome.
That is my thing. But thank you so much.
Thank you, Dattu. Thank you, sweetheart. Thank you, everybody, for being on. And with this, we finish our 5 days with different things for January. And we have a wonderful surprise for February. We have one fabulous CF coming up who has changed so much that I every time I see this person, I truly believe in possibilities. So keep guessing who that is, and you will know soon.
It's a one call?
Who is this? Isha? I will tell you, but I will not tell you. I'll have you guessing. Yes, it's a one call for February.
So I'm wondering.
Wow.
Yep, nobody knows. Nobody knows.
Which part of the world that person is from?
Like, what happened? When did you do that? And Rekha doesn't know too, huh, Rekha?
Even Isha doesn't know.
Reshma and Rekha don't know. Oh my God. Well, the person who's coming knows. And
oh my God. Is it?
Yep.
I'll send you a message.
Yes.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
So February. And we shall see you soon.
I'm going to ping you again and again for this.
I'm in line with Rekha, so yeah.
All right.
We'll all do it.
Look forward to seeing you guys.
Me too. I also need to know this.
Yep.
Thank you, guys. Thank you so much. See you guys soon.
Is it Noor? Noor's not a CF as yet.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Probably by the beginning of next year, she will be.
Banjagi. I saw that call with Reshma, by the way.
Oh,
Beautiful,
are those
hilarious.
calls brilliant?
Beautiful.
Every call she's done is
even Devyani was so cute on it, and then there
so
was
wonderful.
Who was the
even Sanjeevani's son, he was awesome.
Oh yeah.
All of them.
Amazing.
Amazing.
Resh.
Yes, thank you.
And so was Noor, Chandana. That was the first call.
Yeah.
Thank you, sweetheart.
Totally. All three of them.
Yes. Noor she's truly brilliant in every way.
Yeah.
Yes, thank you.
Awesome.
All right, guys.
Good night. See you.
And we have Sonal also on. Thank you
hi,
for coming
Sonal.
on, sweetheart.
Bye.
We had so many, I didn't know who all were on.
Yeah,
Okay.
a lot of people. So
Bye, guys.
Bye, guys. Thank you. Bye.
Good night.
Good night.